I was just really in the moment, you know, like when you watching a draft, like just seeing the names, and then when they call your name, it's just like everybody just starts yelling. So it was just like, it was cool. The difference between Europe and the G League is coaches are willing to develop you. After every game, you're watching film in the G League about what you did wrong. The coach, like the assistant coaches, is always trying to make you get better. And he was also my roommate. But we came into Oklahoma together, so like we had like a lot of battles on the court, and like off the court was just more like chill.
Just be selfish and say that nobody is better than Isaiah Cousins.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I'm gonna say. But
Hello, Isaiah. Big thanks for joining my podcast. It's a great pleasure to host you. It's a great pleasure to see you finally playing in Poland.
Yeah, it's been a good experience. I like everything about Poland. I like the league. I like how competitive it is from the top to the bottom, and it's just a good time. I'm enjoying my time being here.
Tell me about, because it's not your first club. You played already in your career in many different countries. After so many years, do you have like abilities to quick adapt to new places? I know this is part of like athlete job, but you know, like changing so many countries, so many different cultures, languages. Is it tough for you?
No, it's not. To me, it's not tough. I just look at it as each country brings a new experience. Like you said, new culture, new language. And I think just going to different countries, like, I think is actually cool, and it's dope to actually to travel around the world just to play basketball. Not many people do it back home, so I just enjoying the fruits of my labor.
Is this something that you are part of, except of course, of family? You miss from Mount Vernon and your suburbs of New York?
Yeah.
What you miss the most?
I miss my family and friends, and the culture and the food. But other than that, it's okay. I mean, they know that I'm doing what I love, and they respect that, and that's basically it. I mean, yeah, I always miss my friends and family, but this summer I'm gonna have time to see them, so I can't, like, you know, the season is almost over, so it's gonna be a fun summer.
And tell me about the area you grew up, because I know this is like the place that's very famous, for example, because of street ball. Yeah. Tell me about your childhood. Did you train a lot on the streets? Did you play a lot of the streets?
Yeah. Growing up, where I'm from in New York, Mount Vernon, New York, is a big basketball community.
Yeah.
So basketball that's all we did. From six to high school. Definitely, we always played like with our team, and then we always have street ball, like in the summer times, because that's like, there's always a park somewhere, so that's just the culture. I mean, but when in street ball, the bigger stage is like the professional level, like when college players come back, pros come. So I grew up around basketball a lot. Just New York City and New York, like, it's a lot of good talent, and it's a lot of basketball, so that's all we did is talk basketball, watch basketball. That's all we did is just basketball.
Did you grow as a New York Knicks fan?
No, not really, but I have family that's a Knicks fan. I ain't really like the Knicks, but when I was growing up, you had Stephon Marbury.
Yeah.
So that was like a big thing because he's from New York. And he was on the Knicks, so that was like dope to like watch it.
And when I was doing research to our podcast, I find out that in high school that is very known for producing so many basketball players, because Ben Gordon, Rodney McRae, so many, even I saw like Denzel Washington attended this high school.
Yeah.
So was this something, what is so special about this school that you won so many state championship, this school produced so many great basketball players?
Like I said, it's like my city is a basketball community, so all we did is play basketball. It's one high school, and in New York, at that time you have like New York City basketball players, so we do a lot of competing with them. So once you compete with like the best in New York, then you know like your program is good. And we also had like a good coaching staff. We had like a lot of history of like playing like top New York City like point guards. Like my high school, they had the chance to play against like Sebastian Telfair, Lance Stevenson. The list goes on, but I just think for my community, it's like a tight community, and we just grew up playing basketball from young, and they just build us up. So.
And do you remember maybe one game, one tournament when you realized, okay, I'm quite good at basketball. I can do this maybe for a living.
Yeah, so I mean, Mount Vernon was like very competitive. We always used to have like open gym, and the older basketball players would always come and play against us. So I felt like once as a kid and you go against like the older kids, then that like builds confidence. And then if you do extremely well, then I think that just builds confidence. But for me, like it was a tournament like IS8, which is in Queens. At the time, there was like a famous scout, Tom Kozlowski. I don't know if I said his name right, but he was like a big scout in New York, but he passed away. And back in the day, they used to do like 5-star with like all the top high schools used to go, and he was like the top like recruiter. And he had a conversation with me, and I just felt like after that conversation, I just kept working hard, and then and then everything just went up.
What made you choose Oklahoma? I don't know if you know, but still like last season MVP and final MVP of Polish League was also a former Oklahoma player, Cameron McGusty.
Oh yeah, Cam, I played him last year.
Yes, but tell me about what made you choose Oklahoma?
I think Oklahoma was a good fit for me. One of the assistant coaches that was recruiting me, he was from also the same city as me. And Lon Kruger was an amazing coach, and I just felt what he wanted to do with the program fit my style of play. And it was a good opportunity. They was also in the Big 12 and a lot of competition, so it just fit perfectly.
And did you need any time to adapt to the level of NCAA? Because when I speak with former NCAA players, everybody said, okay, when you played in state championships, sometimes you are considered as one of the best players in the state. But you go into NCAA and you play against all best players in their states, and everybody's coming to this big clubs, and you have like the playing against best players in your age. What was the hardest thing for you?
In college?
Yes.
I just say like mentally, like
you were far away from home also.
Yeah, I was far away from home, but I just feel like sometimes in college, like you just hit a wall, like, but once you get out of it, then you're gonna get back. But it's just like college is like, it's a lot of college is more of a mental game than physical game, because it's so much going on. You got school, basketball, it's just a lot, partying, like.
And what do you think when you right now see what happens in NCAA, the NIL deals, like the big thousands, millions of dollars like players receive, the pros going back to NCAA? What are your take about this?
My take is they owe me money.
Everybody, yeah, like any older player said like, oh, I wish I could play again because I think Cameron told me that while he was been in Oklahoma, he received like $700 like scholarships.
Yeah.
And right now you hear like the thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he said, oh, hey man, I would like to play again in NCAA.
Yeah. It just makes you feel like you graduated at the wrong time. But it's cool that they get to experience it. Like it's just a different time. Like these guys are making a lot of money. I just wish I could be in the setting that they are in. Like it looks like it's fun.
And tell me, because there was one big famous guy on your team, Oklahoma, who's now is an NBA star. I mean, Buddy Hield. Tell me about your relationship with him on the court and off the court. How is he as a person?
He's a great person. He has a great personality. He's a cool dude. Real selfless person. I just think me and him, like we just always competed. We worked hard, pushed each other. We was always in the gym. And he was also my roommate. But we came into Oklahoma together, so like we had like a lot of like battles, like a lot of battles on the court, and like off the court it was just more like chill.
What makes him so good?
He could really shoot the ball, and once he get hot, he just get hot. He just have confidence. He's a competitor. And he's hardworking, and that's it. I feel like
your both last season were like great for like all Oklahoma because you played at the Final Four. Despite, of course, the semi-final games against Villanova was for sure tough, but to going to this point, I think when I was doing research, that was first appearance of Oklahoma for like 14 years, since 2002. Tell me about what made you as a team so good at that season. I know that Buddy Hield achieved like average 25 points per game, but you were a tough team back then.
Yeah, we had good chemistry. We had a good group of guys. I just feel like me and Buddy, we came in, worked hard, and then everybody else started to work, and then next thing you know, we just started playing well together. We was in a lot of big games, and we trusted each other. I think that was the main thing. We trusted the team, and we had a good coaching staff, and they believed in us, and their vision worked for us, and at the end of the day, it was like a great experience. We had fun. Like I wish I could go back. And they just retired Buddy's jersey this year.
And how is like to have 16 NBA draft pre-workouts in the short period of time? Am I correct? You have like when I checked, when I was doing research, I found like 16 like
it might have been 17.
So tell me, because each workout is like your chance, maybe for the future, for like next years to like show that you can play at the NBA level. But for sure, they were exhausting this workout, and you have day by day almost so many workouts. You want to have a good body language, good physicality, good connection with all the staff. How you remember that period?
It was a lot. It was just a lot of workouts. Just traveling different cities, going to different NBA facilities. It was a cool experience. Getting the gear, of course, but the workouts didn't really bother me. It was just like the experience. It was pretty cool.
And do you remember what workout was the best for you when you were the best like presence?
I think the Spurs probably was the best. they made me go back. So I had 2 workouts with them, so it was cool.
And how is like to hear your name called in 59th pick? I like just rewatch this last night when I was preparing for interview. But from your perspective, when you hear your name, do you think, oh, I can now? I will in the future. I will retire my family. I will have I will be a huge megastar. What we were thinking?
I was just really in the moment, like when you watching a draft, like just seeing the names, and then when they call your name, it's just like everybody just starts yelling. So it was just like, it was cool. But yeah, it was just like in a moment thing, cause it's just like, you don't know what's gonna happen, and then your agent's calling you back and forth. So I just think it was a cool experience.
I remember when I spoke with Javon Evans. I think you played together in Israel.
Yeah.
He told me a story that after he was drafted by Los Angeles Clippers, some random dudes were approaching him saying that you're my family. Maybe you will have some random people, strangers were pretending to be his cousins, in order to receive some money or some tickets. And how you remember that? Because also that was the year when Kings have 4 picks in the draft, including I think 3 in the first round, because there was Papagiannis, there was
Scow, DCR.
Yeah, and you, and during this first season, the Buddy Hield came because of the trade. How close you were to be to play at the NBA season, the regular season game?
I don't think I was ever close.
Really?
They just sent me to the G League.
Yeah, me too. I think
because at the time the draft was 40 from 45 to 60 is non-guaranteed. So most of those players go to the G League or they just sign.
Yes.
But now it's different because if you get drafted from 40. I mean, I don't know now because I don't really care about the NBA, but I just know from 45 to 60, a team could just give you a 2-way instead of what they did to me. I mean, I could have possibly got a 2-way because I just went to the G League the whole year. But I don't think they played. Not too many of us because that year everybody that was drafted was in the G League, but it was really the D League then.
Yeah, because I think you played so many seasons in Salt Lake City, in the Utah.
I played 2 seasons in Salt Lake.
So and also, and tell me about the G League level, because sometimes I heard that it's not normal league. It's survival mode.
It's what?
It's survival, playing on survival mode, because everybody is trying not to win the game, but to show the best skills you have.
Everybody is trying to develop into the NBA, because basically, if you get sent to the G League, they just teams are just saying that you're not ready for the NBA. So the G League is just a development of the NBA. Europe is they're competing to win something. They competing to be 8th. They competing to win a trophy. The G League is about more of development. The difference between Europe and the G League is coaches are willing to develop you. After every game, you're watching film in the G League about what you did wrong. The coach, the assistant coaches, is always trying to make you get better. And whereas in Europe, you just have to you got to do it on your own. If you have a bad game, you got to figure it out yourself. The coach might say something to you, but it's not you're watching specifically film of just you, not other players. They're telling you what to do. So the G League it's a development league. Everybody says the G League is because the G League is more about skills than because at the end of the day, you got to be able to shoot the 3 at a high level if you want to go to the NBA. You got to be able to do this if you're a big man.
A few weeks ago, I heard the quote from Kyle Guy, who was former NBA player, NCAA. He said that, in his opinion, right now G League has more talent than EuroLeague. What's your take?
EuroLeague? The G League do have talent, but it's 2 different games, I would say. But I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, if you playing 25 minutes in the G League, you might go to EuroLeague after. So a lot of the guys that was averaging 25 in the G League go straight to EuroLeague. So you might have a point, but I haven't been like watching the G League.
But you said before that you are not right now interested in NBA.
Yeah, because I'm not in the NBA. I mean, I'm saying I'm not like.
But do you follow NBA?
Yeah, I follow the NBA. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know some like American players that they say that since they came to Europe, they don't following NBA. They follow EuroLeague because
I just watch highlights. Like, I mean, I'm not like. But it's different because in the States, like NBA is more visible. Like you can see it all the time. But I'm more of a guy that's like, I don't play games. I'm just watching highlights on YouTube. Like most guys is like on the PlayStation, Xbox, like they doing all of that. So they could get a live stream, they could watch that. I'm not like when I go home, I'm gonna watch NBA, of course, but I'm saying like I don't follow the NBA as like what teams are doing. Like I don't follow like what players need to do to get in the NBA, like, you know, you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
And tell me, what was like the hardest thing for you when it comes to adapting to like European basketball, to FIBA rules? Because there are a bit difference between like the American basketball and the European FIBA basketball.
I'll say each country is different. So like each country has different things that you need to adapt to. Like some countries is more physical, and some countries is more tactical, and sometimes the coach is more tactical, and the coach could restrict you. But the most difficult was just, I don't know, like sometimes like the fouls, like how the refs be calling, like, yeah, I feel like that was a big thing because like certain players, they always crying for like a foul call. And
from what I know, like players say about Polish league that Polish refs allow for match contact.
Yeah, cause I ain't getting no foul calls here. Yeah, they allow way more contact. But it's weird because I played in Bosnia, so it's like Bosnia is way more physical, but here like they not. Probably because the level maybe, but.
And do you remember, could you pick your season that you felt you were the best version of yourself?
Probably like last year.
In Inter Bratislava?
Yeah.
NBL. What made you so good?
What made me so good? Just the coach. The coach, the environment. Like it was easy to be successful. That's another thing, like to adapt in Europe, like you don't have like the resources you have like in the G League or in college. That's the biggest thing, because like coming from like Oklahoma, you got like cold tub, you got like hot tub, you got staff that's always there. Like, you know, some staff members have like, they got other jobs that they got to do. So I feel like that was like the biggest thing to adapt to in Europe. Because each team has like different, like you might not have a cold tub, you might have to do recovery on your own. I think that's the biggest thing, because if you want to be a good player, recovery is the biggest like tip if you want to be successful. So I feel like last year in Inter Bratislava, I had all that, I had good access. So
you're the type of person who cares a lot about your body.
You said, am I?
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
Because I know, like, you're also the vegan?
I was. Yeah, but I changed it. I'm like 80-20 now.
So you're not full vegan?
Yeah, but I cook a lot of vegan meals.
But tell me, what inspired you to like start like mixing, start going vegan? Because it's not, I heard many times that when you are a vegan, you sometimes lack of nutrients and stuff like that, and you have to eat meat because, meat will give you a power. And what about you? What made you to try to develop your diet?
I just want to be a better version of myself. To me, it's like I'm just self-improving myself. If I learn something, I just try it in my life. Just trying to be a better man, just trying to elevate, just trying to be different than the next person. I just feel like I'm different, so. But I think the vegan lifestyle it was a journey, but you learn about food and you learn about what's right for your body. And some may say that you can lack nutrition, but there's a lot of research saying that you can. But I'm not really going into that because it's too much. But I just felt like in that journey, I learned a lot about food. I learned about what helps my body feel good. And I learned about just like you can incorporate food in like to recovery and to help like reduce inflammation, especially after like a long game, a hard game and stuff like that. So,
are you aware of your diet since beginning of your pro career, or maybe you developed these habits during your pro life?
Yeah, I developed it like during the pro life because like I was always looking for a way to get better. But I think it started in the G League because we had a nutritionist. In college, we didn't have like a nutritionist. And in the G League, a nutritionist came and like talked to us about something. But the G League, they probably got whole nutrition. It's probably even better now. But I remember a nutritionist came to like when I was in Salt Lake, and she would always like have like conversations. So I just started to do my own research, and then I just applied it to my life.
And what were like biggest difference between like the Salt Lake City team and Maine? Because at Maine, I think you have chance to play with Luke Cornett also. And Sam Hauser also I think was on that team. So there was a couple of like guys who later became good NBA players. Yeah. How you remember that time?
Well, Maine, I was really only there because I think I got hurt, and then I went somewhere. I think I was in like College Cremo, and I got cut. So I just went to the G League. So, but Salt Lake City, I think Salt Lake City was better for me. We had the coach Martin Schiller.
Yeah, who was in Žalgiris in EuroLeague years ago.
Yeah, my assistant coach Brian Bailey. He was with Atlanta. I think he's like assistant coach with Atlanta now. He was like the assistant coach in the G League. But we had Martin Schiller. We had like Naz Muchulong, George Niang. We had a couple of Tyler Kavanaugh, a couple of good players. But I like Salt Lake City. I like Salt Lake City better. Just the environment.
And you also spent some years in Israel, in Israel League. Tell me about that part of your life. How it was like to live in Israel, to play in their league?
Israel was fun, but the most part of my time in Israel I was like kind of hurt, like I was playing through an injury. But other than that, like I loved Israel. Like the life was cool. The cities was cool. Like nice weather, good food. And the league was pretty good though too. It's a lot of good players in Israel League.
And also the part I would like to ask you about is Kosovo. Like, you played last season there. Tell me about like the living in Kosovo. How is like?
Kosovo was cool. Like Bashkimi, shout out to Bashkimi. They took good care of me in Bashkimi. It was like the fans is crazy. It was like. We was the city, so we always had a lot of fans, and the atmosphere like in the games was pretty intense. Like I love the fans for Bashkimi. It was a cool time. I had good teammates. My teammates was cool. I played a couple of them in college, so it was cool to like play with a couple of players I played in college. I think it was cool. But like living in Kosovo was it was almost similar to like Bosnia, I would say, but
What you knew about Poland before you signed a contract with Toruń and Polish league? I think last season during NBL you have a chance to play against Polish team, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cam Augusti.
Yeah, against Legia. But what you knew about the Poland and Polish league before you signed a contract with Toruń?
What did I know? I think Poland, like, they told me like it was like a competitive league. Like good teams. I just knew only teams I knew was like ANWIL and Liga, but the other teams I didn't really know too much about. But I knew ANWIL had I kind of played ANWIL when I was in Israel, and they had what's his dude named Tony Roten.
Yeah.
They had Ricky Lido, and they had another guard like Chris Dow.
Yes.
Yeah, but they was in Champions League, but we beat them when I was in Israel. So I only knew about ANWIL and Liga. And they said like ANWIL had like a crazy budget. So, and we also played ANWIL when I was in Kosovo.
It's a funny thing because when I ask American players about Poland, the first thing they say is Marcin Gortat and Gortat screen.
Who?
Marcin Gortat, like the former NBA player. And Gortat screen, because if you know, like everybody's now playing Gortat screen in NBA.
Okay.
He played with John Wall in Wizards. And you said you mentioned Anvil, you mentioned Legia, but did you speak with any, for example, friends who played in Poland or people? Because when I look at the rosters of teams you played, usually I found like some player that also sooner or later played in Poland.
Yeah. One of my teammates in Kosovo played in Poland. He said Poland is a good league. But I had another friend from where I'm from, Mount Vernon. He played in Poland, Jabari Hines. He said it's, I forgot what team he played for, but he said it's good competition here. But they said Poland is like better now because Cam Augusti was here last year and he goes to Euro Cup. He goes to Euro Cup. That's tough.
Yeah, like Cameron had an amazing season. I mean, I had a chance to host him in podcast last season. Amazing guy. I don't know how you know each other like personally, but he was like a very cool guy.
Yeah, I seen him at OU.
But he came after you graduated, yes?
Yeah, but he's from Texas, so I think he might have I think he came on a visit.
And tell me about the Toruń, like the Twarde Pierniki, the team, the town. How long took you to adapt? Maybe you still adapt because you are not like for a still short moment. But what were your first impressions?
Like when I came to Toruń, I heard it was like a pretty cool city. Like they got like a good like river. It's a quiet city, so quiet cities is kind of easy to adapt to. It's more quiet than Kosovo because I came from Kosovo. But I think it was easy to adapt to because I'm from New York, so it's like there's a lot of crazy people in New York. And I mean, even in Kosovo, like our neighbors was like every time they see us, they were like, "Oh, cousins!" Like we had this little 4-year-old. So like in Toruń, it's more peaceful. Like nobody really bothers you. Everybody say hi, but in Kosovo, we had these little kids. They used to, every time we come back home from practice, like they just like cousins. Just like they ain't speak no English, but they always.
So I think after so many years overseas, you had many similar like memories with like people, local people. Yeah,
you do. Yeah.
And you said we talk a lot about the referees in Poland, but when it comes to the style of the league, the level of the players, especially domestic players, what are your like opinion?
They pretty good. Like they strong, shoot, athletic. It's a lot of like tall point guards in this league. the big man is most of the bigs are pretty good. So like overall, the domestic players is pretty solid.
Are there any players that you are impressed of, like in the other teams?
Well, I didn't play all the teams.
Yes,
so.
But until this point, from the teams you played against until this point.
Until this point, I'm bad with names, so. No, I like them. They good, but I ain't see anybody that's like. And I heard a couple is going to like college in the NCAA.
Just be selfish and say that nobody is better than Isaiah Cousins.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm gonna say. But
yeah, so first thing first. When I spoke like a few months ago with Connor Frankamp, I don't know if you know him. He played like in Kansas, in Wichita State. He's now playing in Start Lublin. He was also 4-star recruit, junior.
Oh yeah, he's on I don't know the team, the red and black team, right?
Lublin? Yes, Start Lublin, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I asked him because he was projected as a huge star. He was junior world champion. He played with Wiggins, Embiid. And I asked him if somebody like 10 years ago will tell you that in 10 years you will play in Poland, in small city, like, and speak with random Polish guy, what would you think? And he said like, that this guy is crazy. And what about you? If like after being drafted, somebody tells you like 10 years later you will speak with some Polish guy, random dude in Toruń, what were your like, reaction?
Well, you know, in college we do the European tour, so I think college kind of set us up to play overseas. But I love basketball so much. Even if the NBA went like overseas, would have been the next thing. I wish I would have came to Europe earlier, I feel like.
Really? Because like many, I was supposed that you said, oh, I wish I could play in NBA or something like that. And you say that you would like to play in Europe area. So
no, the thing is like when you're in the G League, it's like if the NBA don't works out, like Europe is the next thing. But you know, when you play in the G League, you think like you're so close to the NBA. So I think if I could do it over, I probably would have just went 1 year in the G League, then take it to overseas.
So yeah, I asked you earlier about this, but you told me about this little. So I would like to ask more. Do you feel there was any moment during your G League career that you were close to, I think, for example, 10-day contract?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. But in my opinion, the 10-day contract it was just always for money. Like I don't think a lot of 10-day contracts was always guaranteed. So it wouldn't even matter if I did get a 10-day, because when I was in the D League, a lot of players was getting 10 days. But they never got like a solid like 5-year contract. And
when I was doing research on your Instagram.
But even Isaiah Thomas said that. Sorry to cut you off. I think even Isaiah Thomas said that. He said that the 10 days, and he said on a podcast, I think he said the 10 days don't really mean nothing. Because you really want like a guaranteed contract.
Yes.
But like when I was in the G League, the 10 days meant like you go on the team, and then if they have summer league, you automatically get a roster spot.
Yeah.
So there was a player who had a 10-day, and then the next summer league, like I was on the summer league with him. So it was like, but I think when I was with New Orleans summer league, I probably could have had a chance. But I had a couple of games, you know, summer league, it's a lot going on, so.
When I was doing research on your Instagram, that I found out that you have like a website shop with like juices.
Yeah.
tell me about this. How this started, where this idea came from, how is it going?
Yeah, I was a part of the vegan lifestyle, so I think it just goes hand to hand. So for me, like I always was doing juices and smoothies. I think juices is a good way to get your nutrition in, like for people who's like on the go. But I was always good with like making smoothies and making juices, so I just started selling it. And I just started it like last year, so I'm working on it right now. So I'm still like, but it's hard to do it like overseas because I can't get like the bottles and the caps and the labels and stuff like that. But for me, it was just something that I was passionate in, like health and wellness, and I just wanted to make it something like another income for me, and I just wanted to give back to like my community and just start doing little things like that because like I'm getting older and stuff like that.
And this business area is something that you're thinking about after your retirement? Do you feel about your future after basketball? How you see your future?
It's just, I'm just up in the wind with it. Like, you know, whatever it go, how far it goes, then I'm willing to take it. But I just think in the future, I'm not gonna just do this like a juice business. I might do something else. So I don't know. Like I'm still like processing it in my head, like what I'm gonna do next, like when I retire. So.
Do you see yourself as a head coach?
Me, I don't know. I don't know. I might more so help like kids in the inner city and stuff like that.
So like junior at the junior level, or maybe develop coach, player development.
Yeah,
coach.
Development. Get them getting that NIL money.
And coming to the end, what is the best life lesson your career gave you?
You just gotta train your mind, like, you know, like how strong your mind is, like in this profession is like how far you'll be able to be successful, because there's always gonna be like ups and downs. There's gonna be injuries. It's gonna be like a lot of trials and tribulations. But as long as you have a strong mind, you could face anything. And
you said, we joke that you consider yourself as the best player.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking about your future, but still your future in basketball as a basketball player, how many like reserves you have in your game? How much Isaiah Cousins can still improve at your age?
Oh, we good. There's always room for improvement. I feel like as long as you healthy and as long as you got the resources, you can always improve. But I just think, you saying for me specifically, like what can I do?
Yes. Do you see any areas in your game that you can still improve?
Oh yeah, probably just shooting and just getting a little bit more physical strong. I think that happens, then yeah.
And what advice you will give to this Isaiah who just was drafted by Sacramento?
I would say enjoy the journey.
Do you think he will like accept that advice?
Yeah. Me back in the day, I don't know. It's probably gonna go in one ear and out the other.
So we can say that throughout this whole years, you grew up also as a person. You mature a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So what are the biggest difference when it comes to the character between younger self and you today?
Just listening, and applying it. And before, when I was younger, I was a little bit more rebellious.
So now you became more humble?
Yeah, I mean, I was humble, but I always had to question something. Like,
And a part of staying healthy, what I can wish to you? apart of staying healthy, what I can wish to you, like the more money, more successes, more like trophies, what I can wish to you?
More wins, man, more W's in the chat.
So I wish you this, and big thanks for having time for me. It was a great pleasure to host you in my podcast. Great pleasure to see you play in Poland. Hope to see you play more in Poland. Yeah, big thanks, Isaiah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.